What's up guys, Cash back again, and while we wait for more news to roll out about the next two patch updates coming to the game, I wanted to talk about the thing that a lot of players have been asking, and that's if SheHulk is still coming to the game. And thankfully we do have an answer for that, and make sure you guys stick around because I'll be breaking down exactly how the current development cycle for the new heroes work, and roughly how long that process can take, so let's jump into it. So back at the start of this year, we were blindsided by Miller's news that a mystery hero was coming to the game this year, and we were told that the rumor was this hero was planning to hold players over until the team could get out the next big content that included SheHulk coming to the game just ahead of her Disney Plus show that everyone can't stop talking about. Now obviously plans changed at some point because the next hero that was announced after we got Jane Foster turned out to be the Winter Soldier. And there's been a ton of speculation as to why that was the case, but a lot of players who were actually hoping to see SheHulk announced are now actually concerned about her possibly no longer being planned as an upcoming release, and I completely understand why, but we do have information available that can ease those concerns. So if we go back through this year's timeline of events, Jane Foster was officially announced back in April, and once we got over to May, the developers began chatting a bit more about where she was in her development progress, with the lead developer sharing that she was currently in playtesting. But around that same time, the brand manager responded to a Reddit comment claiming that Jane would be the last hero added by simply setting a reminder for 6 months later. And Brian doubled down on this via Twitter by saying he's been designing the next hero for the past 2 weeks. We of course know now that the hero he was referring to at the time was in fact the Winter Soldier. But let's focus on the time frame, because this was posted back in May, and he said he's been designing the hero for the past 2 weeks. So essentially, development for Bucky started late April, but we'll say May. And he's scheduled to release later this year with the expectation being late November, which puts him on pace to be in playtesting by October depending on the process. But if you compare that to Jane Foster, who was confirmed to have started development back in December of last year, she was in playtesting in May, just ahead of her release at the end of June. And this time frame perfectly matches what the lead developer himself shared about it taking roughly 4 to 6 months to get new heroes from paper designs to playable. Now if you're wondering how all of this relates to SheHulk, back on June 28th, Brian shared that he was currently wrapping up the paper designs for the next 2 heroes coming to the game. And initially, our speculation was that these could be heroes like Doctor Strange and Wanda, because the rumor was heroes like Captain Marvel and SheHulk have been in development for quite some time and have been held back for different reasons. But it seems that they were planned, and the work that we've seen shared about them, such as audio files of characters in the game addressing them by name, and knowing that SheHulk definitely has a voice actress who's recorded her dialogue well before the character will arrive, simply validates that they have been planned additions for a while. The team has shared that because the voice actors they chose are in such high demand that they sometimes run into issues with scheduling, which is why it makes perfect sense to have the actors do their lines before any actual development on the character has been done, just so they don't have to worry about that being an issue down the road. But looking at what we know, the only hero added to the pipeline recently that wasn't planned initially was Jane Foster. But SheHulk, Winter Soldier, and Captain Marvel have been planned additions from the beginning, which is why there have been audio files found for them, just like we saw with Spider-Man ahead of his release. So looking back at Brian's quote about starting paper designs for the next 2 heroes, with the context of knowing heroes like SheHulk and Captain Marvel are planned, but who aren't as far in the development process as we believe, then it's very likely that SheHulk and Captain Marvel are currently in development while development on Bucky is approaching its end. And if you do the math, counting from July, the next hero will be wrapping up development by the end of this year, putting them on pace for a very early release in 2023. SheHulk being a planned hero for Avengers has been one of the worst kept secrets in gaming, and I do believe the choice to pivot towards Bucky as the next hero was partially weighed against the dev team's desire to try and surprise the players and possibly throw Miller off their trail. But seeing as how that didn't exactly work out as planned, I think the team is going back to its original plan, and that plan was to get out SheHulk and Bucky ahead of Captain Marvel and the Kree invasion, which we know is still planned to come because they brought Nick Fury back specifically to tease it again, and we'll be talking about the plans for the Kree invasion in the upcoming video. But for those of you still wondering about SheHulk, I think you already have your answer. She's clearly planned to come to the game, and I think you'll get more news on that front once the team is ready to tease what comes after patch 2.7. So just be patient and let's see how this all plays out. But as usual, I'll pass things off to you guys. Are you convinced that She-Hulk and Captain Marvel are the next planned heroes? Or do you believe the team might go a different route after Bucky? Let me know down below, and make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe for more Marvel's Avengers content every week. And if you're interested in picking up Avengers merch, shop with Fandom Ian and make sure to use my code in the description to get an additional 10% off. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.